Welcome to day 5 of 5 days to peak performance yoga challenge. First, I want to celebrate your presence because, as they say, 80% of success is showing up, and here you are. You made it through to day 5. Now, if this happens to be the very first video of the challenge you're watching, I still want to celebrate your presence. And I'll show you how you can get access to all the videos that you've missed a bit later, okay? But right now, let's focus on day 5. You are here at the right time. And today, we're looking at an idea whose time has come. It's the quantum leap roadmap. And as usual, we'll put our learning into action and we'll be doing a quick physical yoga session to help us embody the concepts. Now, quantum leap is a term taken from the vocabulary of quantum physics, the science behind the technological breakthroughs such as lasers, computers, space communication, and nuclear energy. It is the most powerful science ever conceived by human beings, and it requires a major rethinking of such concepts as time, space, and how human consciousness operates, which of course is the domain of yoga with a capital Y. The spiritual dimension of yoga. Fred Alan Wolf, in his award-winning book, Taking the Quantum Leap, describes it as the explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In that figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking a risk, going off into an uncharted territory with no guide to follow. And I say this is an idea whose time has come because we are in such unprecedented times. There's really no playbook for how to proceed. We really are in an uncharted territory. Physicists studying quantum leap mechanics note that particles make this jump with no apparent effort and without covering all the bases between the starting and end points. Now, how did this happen? And is it possible for you as an individual to undergo something very similar in your personal performance? Most people operate with a mindset that success can only be conquered one step at a time, incremental progress. And that's the pathway of conventional growth. But in certain area of your life, it's possible for you to move your present level of achievement to one that is several stages higher directly. Instead of accepting present circumstances of being content with gradual improvement, you go for a breakthrough. Quantum leap is about making exponential gains rather than incremental progress. In mathematics, it's like going from addition to multiplication, then to squaring a number. So it's about shifting levels rather than making incremental progress on the same plane of existence. Quantum leaps seem to utterly violate common sense, but in retrospect, quantum leap moves look very practical, sensible, even obvious moves. So let's study this phenomenon a bit further by examining the principles and mindsets that really set you up to make quantum leaps in your life. I have 5 rules, and I want you to take good notes because winners do that. And peak performance is also about being a great student of life. So get your notepad or piece of paper and a good pen to write with. I'm going to share with you the first 3 here right now, and then we'll break for yoga. And then after yoga, I'll share the last 2 points with you, and I'm saving the best for the last. So do watch the videos all the way to the end. Be a finisher. So rule number 1 for making quantum leaps is to look beyond conventional approaches. Instead, actually look for a paradoxical move. Now imagine a fly that's stuck in the screen of your window. It's seeing the light just on the other side of the screen, so it's trying desperately hard to push and beat its wings and push against that screen and expend every last bit of its energy, trying harder and trying to push through the screen to the light and freedom. And tragically, a lot of flies die like this, right? But if it were only to fly in exactly the opposite direction, within 10 seconds of flying, it would have seen that there's an open door that it could just fly into its freedom. Now, all of us are a lot more intelligent than that fly, yet most of us tend to default to what we do best or what we know best without questioning this approach, whether it's the right way to make the greatest progress. So often, our attachment to the familiar old way of doing things is the bottleneck. Instead, don't be afraid to set an entirely new pattern into motion, even if it seems completely contrary to conventional thinking, to common sense. So that's number 1. Look beyond conventional approaches. Rule number 2 is to open your gifts. We all have many gifts we have never opened. Right? They lay latent within us, just waiting to play a role in our quantum leap. When you step upon the path of quantum leaps, you'll be asked to lean into your discomforts, and you'll discover many new things about yourself. Just as a caterpillar has to break out of the cocoon of safety to open its wings, so you must break out of the cocoon of the known, set way of doing things and find your wings. Discover new gifts. There's so much latent potential lying within us, and most human beings go to the grave with just 10%, barely 10% of the potential unfolded. So, gotta look for the new gifts and begin to unfold them. Find your wings. Now, rule number 3 is, this is very important, it is to suspend disbelief. This is a really tough one for us adults. Why? Because we've all become such skeptics, and after some negative experiences or past so-called failures, many of us have stopped believing that what we want, our dreams, our visions, is truly possible. But consider this, that our skepticism, which we presume is based on rational thinking and factual data, it's actually rooted in old mental furniture, conditioning, and habitual thinking. That skepticism is not the result of original thought. It's not the result of really actually thinking, in fact. It is just recorded beliefs that has been reinforced over and over. So it is like a broken record in a way. It's actually mental junk. Years ago, you accepted the flawed conclusions about your limitations as correct and stopped the bold experiments that brought you many breakthroughs you had as a kid or a young adult. And so making quantum leaps require some of that wide-eyed belief in life's magic. You've got to suspend disbelief and act as if. So let's refresh ourselves with some peak performance yoga right now. We'll review these 3 rules and embody them in our physical yoga practice. So let's step on the mat and use this practice to actually embody these 3 principles we talked about. So first we're going to explore what it is to really, kind of move in a paradoxical way against what conventional wisdom says. Often we're taught to push harder, try harder, grit our teeth and push. But the wonderful thing about yoga is that in order to really excel at some of the asanas, to do them very well, you need a lot of release energy. You actually need to let go of some of that grinding teeth, efforting energy in order to really make space for deepening the asana. So let's bring that into play. First, let's stand and really connect energetically with the earth and then draw the energy up. So it's really in the intelligent application of your effort that makes a difference. So keep the energy fluid and let's translate that lift into the extension of the arms up. So the fingertips and the arms are reaching up, but the shoulder blades are descending. Keep this internal lift as you begin to dip your hips down. Feel the effortlessness of being lifted as your hips sink, creating this effortless lengthening of the side. Now, again, with equal effortlessness, use gravity. So inhale here, use also the exhale force and let it go and come back. Let's do it a few times and have fun with it, right? Exhale, drop it, and come back. It helps if you have long hair like me, and whip that hair, interlace, lift your heart, inhale. And as you exhale, fold, and let gravity help to open your shoulders. Let gravity open the back of the neck. Surrender, go with the flow where we are taught to grit our teeth and push. Just enjoy the surrender energy for a moment. You can begin to little by little work towards straighter legs, opening your shoulders. keeping the core strong throughout. As you exhale, touch the ground and step back with your right foot into a low lunge. Let's make sure the architecture of the base is very much stacked. So knee over your heel, and keep your heart gazing forward. And keep the core strong, but then let's slowly melt the back knee to the ground. If you need to place a padding or cushion under your knee, go ahead and do so. Again, from the lift, all the way from the sole of the foot into your core, you're gonna lift your arms. And the second principle was about opening your gifts. So as adults, we tend to get calcified. We tend to get calcified in our identity, into who we think we are. We forget, that to open the gifts that we have opened so far, we have to take some risks. We have to try new things, right? But as we get older, we get calcified into thinking, that's it, there's no more. Nothing could be farther from the truth, right? Let's touch the ground, raise your back knee and step it back. Downward dog, and begin to pedal out your feet. Deep breath in. Open up the soles of the feet, the calf, Achilles, and effortlessly as you can, roll through the spine. So inhale, heels up. You're gonna ride the wave of the breath, coming out to plank. And as you go to plank, go back to bent knees, down to facing dog. Couple more times. Inhale, rise to hefta, engage your core, gliding out to plank. Core strong, neck long, back to bent knees. Fold at the hips, drop your head. Again, roll it out. Inhale to a plank. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. This time, roll all the way out to a plank. Head unfurls last. Now melt your knees on the ground. Melt your heart and chin to the earth. Inhale, glide to a low cobra, medium cobra, highest cobra, and exhale. Round your back into choppas. Keep it flowing. Inhale, elbows are wide. Rise to the peak. Exhale, child pose. Last one. So let the heart open here. Open your gifts. Breathe into receptivity. Child pose. Let's pause in child pose for a moment. If you like, bring your prayer hands together, walk your elbows in, and feel the stretch throughout the triceps area. And as you exhale, turn your palms up and release the gripping, the extraneous efforting. Let's catch hold of your heels and roll it up. Head last. Let's do one more little heart opener. Hands go behind, palms facing front if possible. You can use blocks here or have a chair here. Try to keep your knees touching and then press it forward through the quads. Now really take deep breaths, complete breaths that touch the bottom of your lungs. Press it up through the heart. Open your throat. Send it up to the sky. Hey, these asanas are wonderful for unblocking these centers. The solar plexus is your center of self-esteem, your confidence, your willpower. Your heart is your center of compassion and just allowing that source energy to flow. So just sit here for a moment and just feel the harmonious flow. So I think the third rule is probably the most difficult for us as adults, suspending disbelief. So it requires steadfastness. Steadfastness in acting as if. So let's just practice physically sustaining an action for a moment. Can you tuck your toes and lift your heels and see if you can keep the inner lift? Keep that steadfast lift without letting the ankles wobble. Holding a thought without letting doubt creep in. Holding a thought that yes, it's absolutely possible. Your dreams are possible. Now extend it up. Sustaining a high vibration is required for suspending disbelief, right? So now can you take it by using the strength of your legs? Can you take it up to a chair? Boom. Awesome. And now from the chair, we're going to shift over into one leg. Got my left foot up. and catch that foot with your left hand and see if you can come to a full-fledged quad stretch preparation for Natarajasana. If you got it in you, you can go for the full asana or just keep it here. And wherever you are, steadfast, breathe. Breathe. I activate the ends of your body, the fingertips, the toes. Now see in the distance your destination that you chose at the very beginning of this challenge. See it, see it, see it. You can bend your knee, engage your core. And so to make a quantum leap, you got to take a risk. Make that leap. It's going to downward facing dog. Great. And let's take a little figure 8. Open that hip. Breathe. Another figure 8. Just loosen that hip a little bit. Inhale. Open the hip. Last one. Figure 8. And extend all the way to the ends of your toes. And let's take it to a pigeon pose. Land your shin diagonally across your mat. Find your uprightness. Square your hips. Lift from the core. Take the collarbones back. Again, breathe into that openness. Open your gifts. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. So let's make a commitment to lean into our discomfort in order to discover new gifts. Open your heart, open your throat. Right? All those false limiting beliefs about ourselves that we've told ourselves are true, simply they are actually mental furniture, outdated mental furniture, right? So if you're okay here, you can stay here or take it all the way down. Now, if this bothers your knee, then do modify the asana. So if the regular pigeon pose is great, keep that. If you need to modify, you can always come to the modification pose, the eye of the needle pose, getting the same stretch, but without the pressure on the knees. So I'll go back to the pigeon pose for now, but you can remain in the modified version if you need. Get long and let's breathe. Walk your hands in, lifting from the core. Curl the toes under in the back, and in one move, let's step it back, downward dog. Couple breaths here. Really establish in your steadfastness. Feel like you can tear the mat apart sideways, tear the mat apart lengthwise. And inhale, gazing forward, either walk it or jump it into your hands. Embrace the calves, Achilles, start with knees bent, and exhale, empty. Let's come back to the chair pose that we started with, and then rise. Open, open, open to possibilities, and back to hands by your heart, hands by your thighs. So let's try the whole thing to the other side. So again, draw up from the roots to the fingertips, and dip the hips back and down, feeling the inner lift. Breathe. This time, try perching on your half toe. Again, translate that steadfastness into the stillness of your ankles. Now, swing your hands back for diver's pose and see if you can slowly extend your legs, drawing up, up, up. Breathe and see if you can catch yourself landing your heels down, swinging your arms up. Interlace. So whatever happened now, exhale, release any of gripping, tension, let it go. Allow yourself to become still and feel the gravity pull on your body. Now as you exhale, let the fingertips perch next to your toes, and now take your left leg, a gigantic step back with your left leg. Again, be mindful of the angle of the knee over the heel. Keep the lift of the core, and let's slowly ease your knee down. Hook in from your front heel towards the back knee here. You can keep your toes tucked in the back if you like, and then inhale, reach your arms up, exhale, circle one. Breathe in. Being open to opening your gifts. Self-discovery never ends. Every time you step on the mat, you're a new person. interlace. Lift out of your knee, lift out of your lower back, lift through your heart, lift the skull out of your neck. Breathe. Exhale. Touch the mat, raise your back knee and step it back. Downward dog. And again, it's just, again, pedal your feet out. The area underneath your toes, they're very much connected to the acuity of your senses. And the entire soles of the feet contain the map for the whole body. We'll just do it once. We're going to lift your heels, ride the wave and glide to a plank. Exhale. This time, chaturanga your way all the way down. And this time, just lay down flat in what I call pranam, full prostration. From here, identify your left arm, right leg. Raise them up simultaneously. Inhaling. Left arm, right leg. Exhale, lower. Identify right arm, left leg. Inhale. Raise them up simultaneously. Exhale, lower. Again, left arm, right leg. Inhale. Let the lift of the arm lift your face. Exhale. Right arm, left leg. Exhale. Now everything, arms, legs, chest, breathe. Exhale, raise your legs. Inhale, raise your heart. Exhale for now. Bend the elbows, find the cactus. Retract your blades. Feel that expansion. Open, open, open your heart. From here, hands go to the floor. And let's go to child pose with toes tucked. And then let's take a little counter pose in a rounding of the back in child pose squat. Drop your head forward and feel the nape of the neck stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out. This is a good place to review those three principles. Right? 1, look beyond the conventional approaches. Do we ever get to really sit like this in conventional society? Not really, right? And by really adopting unconventional asanas, we open new centers. 2nd, open your gifts. Drawing up, up, up. Feel that life force that is the source of all your gifts. Bring it into your heart and bloom that lotus. Breathe. We can raise that lotus. Sustain the lift of the heels. Right. And chair pose. 3rd, suspend disbelief. Let's shift into your left foot. Right foot up this time for Natarajasana. Catch the right foot. Try to find your quad stretch. Find your uprightness. Find your steadfastness. If you're able to go further, then Natarajasana. If not, just stay with your knees together, quad stretch. Good. So feel free to bend your knees here. But now this is about taking a risk. I think forward, even further than the edge of the mat. Think forward, keep the lift, think forward, keep the lift. And at a certain point, you gotta just leap. Make that leap. And however it lands is however it lands. Breathe. Practice taking risks, right? Figure 8 pattern. Inhale, open up. Exhale, dive it down. Inhale, open up. Exhale, swoop it across. And keeping your core strong, right? Let's land that aircraft in pigeon pose. Front foot is flexed. Upright your pelvis. Take the head of the arm bones back. Breathe into the peak. Let's flow all the way forward to your forearm. Grab your mat. Use your mat as a prop and slide back. And look beyond the conventional. Let your awareness span your whole body. Take a full prostration. Open your awareness to the cellular pulse. Right? The gifts can be this minute vibration of bliss. But as you focus on it, it grows and it grows. Whatever you put your attention on, it amplifies. So if you look for your gifts, you will find it. Right? And let's walk it in. Walk it in, lift from the core. Place your hands on the mat, tuck your toes. Lifting from the core, let's step it back to Adho Mukha, Downward Dog. Let the back of your knee breathe. Enjoy the length. And if you want an extra stretch here, try micro-bending your right knee. All the way it's in your right hand, and the left hand grabs the outer right shin. Now we extend this leg, and we push the mat with your right palm. Try to go for straight legs. Breathe into the stretch, and then switch hands. Left palm goes flat. Micro bend your left knee and grab. Start from the upper calf, and then see if you can slide it way down to the heel. Breathe. Look under that left arm. Breathe into the stretch. Look beyond the conventional. Breathe. Extend. Now look forward. Engage your core. See if you can suspend this jump, like suspending your disbelief. 1, 2, 3. Float in. Embrace your shins, Achilles, calves. Shake it out if you need. Shake it up and down. Let it go. Bend your knees. And then see if you can expand your arms out of the heart and rise. Gather your gifts and receive it into the present. All right, I hope that was refreshing. I hope you feel great in your body now. Now let's go forward with rule number 4 of quantum leap thinking. Are you ready? So rule number 4 is to tap into your unconditioned mind. Remember what Einstein said, that no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Again, Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. That means you have to make a level shift. And the only way we can make those shifts is by turning within. And it's perfect that we're addressing this rule right after our yoga practice, because it really helps us to turn within, does it not? Your dreams, your desires, the thoughts that burn the hottest in your mind, they contain the hints that point to your true north. You got to look inside for what's pulling you. Now, before I reveal the last rule for making quantum leaps, I want to give you your assignment for day 5. And you will need your notebook and your pen or pencil. One of the most powerful exercises for improving your intelligence and increasing your creativity in revealing new solutions to old problems. So it's very simple, but don't let its simplicity fool you. Let's do this right now, and let's do it full out. Do it with your full bandwidth, not just haphazardly, okay? So get yourself a piece of blank paper, and at the top of the page, write the most burning question down in your life right now at the top of the page. The simpler and more specific the question, the better will be the quality of answers you mine through this process. For example, instead of just, how can I make more money? You can write, how can I double my income over the next 6 months? Or, even better, how can I earn X amount of dollars in the next specific amount of time? So be specific both in the number, if it's a monetary amount, or if there's any numbers involved, name that number and also assign to it a specified period of time. So go right ahead, tune in, and write the most top of the mind question you have in as much specificity as possible. Then you're going to discipline yourself to come up with at least 20 answers. Yes, at least 20 answers to the question. Don't edit yourself. Your first 3 to 5 answers are going to come very easily, probably the most obvious ones you can think of. The next 5 will take a bit more thinking, and the last 10 will really force you to think out of the box. So sometimes it's the 20th answer that is the one that leads to the breakthrough. So don't stop until you have at least 20 answers. Don't edit. And if you can come up with even more, you can go for 30 or 40 answers. This is pumping metal iron. You're tapping into the truly unconditioned part of your mind, especially in those later answers. You're tapping into the truly creative part of your mind. So please definitely do this. This is your assignment, and don't do it haphazardly, but do it with your full attention, because this one exercise can be so life-changing. You're literally mining the field of answers that does exist within you. Many people say, I don't know, I don't have the answer. But the truth is, the fact is, the reservoir of answers dwells right within you, and you just have to tap into it. You have to mine it. Now, once you have your list of 20 answers, you're going to go over the answers and select at least one action you can take immediately, and that is highlighted here, immediately, to move more rapidly towards the vision you set on day 1 of this challenge. There is such a thing as the speed of implementation. The universe loves that. When you have an idea and you go immediately to implement it, it makes you very magnetic to the universe. Your assignment is to do that and then post that answer you took action on in the comments below or in the Facebook group to be eligible for the prize for day 5. Definitely do this, and you will have a great chance of winning the prize for the day. Now, you've just embarked on a brand new path of possibility, a brand new way of thinking that will get you new results. Now, would you like to hear the most important rule that you must absolutely adhere to if you want to make quantum leaps in your life? Okay, so rule number 5, the last rule for making quantum leaps, is you must raise the vibration of your thoughts to the same level as the results you seek. What does this mean exactly, to raise the vibration of your thoughts? In practical terms, it means that you're able to conceive of desired realities that do not yet exist, and you're able to envision them clearly in your mind's eye. It means putting the full force of your soul's power behind your inspired thoughts and visions, and that you're able to sustain that vibration for increasingly longer periods of time. This is the visionary's inner process. This, in fact, is visionary yoga. It's so simple, yet out of the billions of people who are living on this planet, less than 1% of the population are able to really make this law work for them. Why? Because we all operate on a certain paradigm. Our paradigm is like the thermostat that we're set to. This is called a cybernetic system. The thermostat reads the current temperature of your room, and if it gets too warm, it will turn the air conditioner on to lower the temperature. If it gets too cold, it will activate the heating system until the room temperature matches the thermostat setting. Our paradigm works exactly like this. We each have a certain amount of happiness, success, and a level of having that we're set to by our paradigm. And if we happen to go beyond our upper limit of our capacity for happiness, success, or material wealth, it sets off a mechanism that brings it back down to a level we're more comfortable with. And this is a super important point. Your paradigm lives in your subconscious mind in the form of your self-image. And unless you consciously change this image, you will be forever bound to its limitations. It simply will not permit you to have the amount of inner or outer wealth you truly desire, because your paradigm simply will not permit you to outperform your self-image. And if you want to see the paradigm that you are currently operating from, all you have to do is to look at your results. Your current circumstance is a direct result of the paradigm you're operating from. And most people live and die without ever realizing that they even have a paradigm, never mind their ability to change it. And I think this is one of the greatest tragedies, because we actually signed up for this life on this planet exactly for this purpose: to grow in consciousness, to evolve into true freedom, which includes financial freedom, time freedom, and emotional freedom. So how do we change our paradigm? The answer is through daily practice. The great news is you can engage in this process even if your current reality does not yet reflect that vision, even if you don't know exactly how to realize that vision, even if right now you think you don't have the resources to get even close to your vision. You have to remember that the great inventions we now take for granted, such as the cell phone, the light bulb, the airplane, were severely ridiculed in their time. But the power of their vision and persistent efforts to realize that vision eventually won over all the critics until they became raving fans and converts. So this is the truth as plain as day. Big, meaningful, and lasting change is impossible until we change our operating paradigm. If you want to achieve peak performance in your life, in your health and fitness, in your relationships, in your career and financial life, you need to master the art of breaking out of your old paradigms and changing the vibrational frequencies you are attuned to.
Then who am I?
You're the star.
Was nothing real?
You were real. That's what made you so good to watch. Listen to me, Tuna. There's no more truth out there than there is in the world I created for you. Same lies. The same deceit. But in my world, you have nothing to fear. I know you better than you know yourself.
You never had a camera in my head.
You're afraid. That's why you can't leave.
What if you could make paradigm shifts and quantum leaps a consistent part of your life? What if we could do this in a way that got us in the best physical shape of your life, as well as in a heightened mental emotional state? Well, of course, this is really a core question that yoga with a capital Y addresses in depth. And if you're serious about peak performance, serious about improving your current circumstances, I have a brand new opportunity for you called the Visionary Yoga Membership. And like all invitations, I don't want you to feel obliged. I want you to feel invited. This is a program I've developed after 29 years of studying this science. Many of those years living in India, studying at a medical university, as well as sitting at the feet of true masters of yoga. And after seeing that there's a significant gap between what we call yoga, the stretching and the breathing on the mat, and what's really possible with this technology, I created this program. This membership is unlike any other yoga memberships out there, as it's not just a collection of physical yoga workout sessions. The Visionary Yoga membership covers your need for the juicy, creative, unique physical yoga sessions that you love, but it also takes you beyond just the physical practice. Have you ever wondered how many sun salutations you had to practice before you made progress on your spiritual path? Well, it would take a very long time to get enlightened through just the physical practice alone. That's because as human beings, we have to address the subtler dimensions of our mind, emotions, and the subtle nervous system where our past impressions live in a dormant form. And very importantly, we must do the practices which have the power to purify the subconscious reservoir of past impressions, because this is where the paradigms live. Because 90% of our actions are governed by our subconscious. The Visionary Yoga membership is intended to give you the full spectrum experience of yoga, because truly, yoga is as diverse and as deep as life itself. We bring the science of self-realization and the art of manifesting your visionary life and synthesize this profound body of knowledge with athletic physical yoga sessions. In short, we're creating the bridge between your practice on the mat and the visionary life you long to manifest. You'll be exposed to yogic texts and practices that are rarely shared in the commercial yoga studios, plus Ayurvedic knowledge on how to cleanse and keep yourself in balance. And very importantly, we provide accountability, support, and personalized laser coaching so you keep moving forward on your vision. Nothing is left as just a concept or theory. We put a laser focus on where you are ripe for your next breakthrough, so you always know your next step with crystal clarity. Visionary Yoga membership is your very practical online yoga studio and personal development coaching program all rolled into one. To know more, please click the button or link below this video. And before we conclude this challenge, I want to leave you with this truth. There is nothing more powerful than studying consciousness. Whatever field you are in, whatever you are endeavoring to do in this world, studying the reality-making mechanism you're living every second of your life in is only going to help you excel in your chosen field. Do give this some thought, and I will see you on Planet Visionary Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for this online journey into your peak performance. Here's to your visionary life. Namaste.